Welcome to Aston Means Business, a podcast from Aston Business School. My name's Steve Dyson, and I'm a journalist who's interviewing some of the UK's top business academics here at Aston University. This podcast has been going since October 2019, and there are now more than 30 previous episodes that you can find and listen to by simply Googling Aston Means Business. Today's episode is all about the launch of a new course called Inspirational Team Coaching, which will lead to a Postgraduate Certificate from the Centre for Innovation in Enterprise Education here at Aston Business School. We'll be interviewing the academics who are behind this new course. They are Senior Lecturer Dr. Uwe Napiersky and Senior Teaching Fellow Dr. Elinor Vettraino. Hello, Uwe and Elinor.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Hi, thanks for having me too.
Great to have you both. And let's start by finding out a little bit about who you are, what brought you to Aston, and what you teach and research here. Let's start with you, Uwe.
Yeah, thanks. My background is actually, I come from different areas. I have a very practitioner-oriented background, working in the corporate world and working more than 2 decades in international consultancy. I joined Aston 10 years ago, and one of my last research projects were actually about team coaching. What makes team coaching team coaching? What are the key credentials? So that's really my passion of research in the moment. I started being interested in teams actually starting back in the 80s when I studied family therapy, and was from then on really interested in social systems and looking at what is maybe my motto or my slogan for team coaching. It is team excellence doesn't come by itself. Focused team coaching makes a difference between muddling through or performing as one. And the team as a whole is a key, not the different egos. We all know this old sum of the parts sentence, which is more important than ever. Um, for the upcoming course, we actually made a demand analysis with companies we are working with. So that's maybe about my background so far.
And before we get into the course detail, let me ask you the same, Elinor. What brought you to Aston, and what do you teach and research?
Yeah, thanks for that, Steve. What brought me to Aston was a very innovative new program called Business Enterprise Development, actually. And the reason why it's so innovative is it uses coaching as a model of delivery, which is quite unique in the academic world. And this fits really well into the experience that I've had and why I came to inspirational team coaching with Uwe, actually, because I started exploring coaching myself as a client around 15 years ago, and I really loved it. I loved it so much, actually, that I began training as an individual and executive coach. And then I found team coaching, and team coaching really spoke to me because of the fact that it's a collaborative experience, and then it's really building people's skill set and knowledge. So I started incorporating team coaching into my consultancy work with Active Imagining, which is my own company. And at the same time, I started training as a team coach for a model called Team Academy. And that's the model that the day job of my work here at Aston is built on, business enterprise development. So Team Mastery coaching training enabled me to help to support the setting up and running of Team Academy-based programs throughout the UK, actually. And I now lead the training for team coaching for this model of Team Academy, again, throughout the UK, but also I do some work internationally as well. And in fact, we've trained over 100 team coaches in this approach, so it's really exciting. We've also just published 4 books with Routledge focused on the Team Academy model, and these are the first mainstream texts related to this approach ever, actually. So it's a really exciting time to be involved with team coaching of any kind.
That certainly sounds very interesting. Now let's find out why you are both launching the new inspirational team coaching course. First of all, Uwe, what is it all about, this team coaching?
Starting from the helicopter view, you can observe there is a billion-dollar coaching industry, and team coaching is one of the newest kids in town of the coaching approaches. Um, Again, one of my slogans is innovation is a team effort. Many leaders still believe in this model of the 20th century, but it is more about the 21st century leadership, more in a team direction. And this course helps our students, our learners, about clearer purpose in teams, collectively agreed team objective and processes, improve team dynamics and team meetings, engage partners with external stakeholders, and so on. There is a lot in it in this approach, which is maybe even around organizational learning. So there are many components why it is now important to upskill upcoming leaders, executives with these team coaching principles.
Let me just press a question on that, but maybe with yourself, Elinor. It might be obvious, but why is it so crucial for organisations to have effective teams as a whole rather than just excellent individual leaders?
Well, that's a really interesting question, actually, Steve. And I think it comes down to the fact that the bulk of most people's daily activities tends to involve connection with other people. Either working together or certainly interacting with others is core to the human condition, and yet our approach is often very individualistic. I certainly have found that organizations make an assumption that people know how to work together in teams, and actually, that's often not the case. So they tend to have team building activities. They maybe do team away day type experiences to try and facilitate some kind of commonality. But actually, these don't address the day to day challenges and benefits of working in teams the way a coaching process can. Research would also indicate that there are a number of benefits from organizations engaging in team coaching itself. Things like increased motivation for staff and communication, innovation and creativity itself can grow, and obviously collaboration, which is a key to surviving in industry nowadays. And to innovate, a team needs continuous learning, and being supported by a team coach to do that really adds tremendous benefit to an organization. And that's kind of what our program aims to do. It aims to develop practitioners' knowledge and competence in using team coaching to support all of these things.
Okay, I get the passion from both of you on this subject, I think. So let's get into the actual detail of the Inspirational Team Coaching course. Now, I understand there are 3 modules, and that the first one is all about foundation knowledge and essentials. So perhaps Uwe can take me through that module and the type and level of students that you're aiming at.
Yeah, in general, it's really about the foundations, the essentials, starting up to get an overview about the landscape and directions of team coaching and what makes it inspirational team coaching. It's about the different schools of team coaching to understand the principles of one-to-one coaching as well, what is in one-to-one coaching and what is in team coaching and what is maybe not in team coaching from one-to-one coaching. It's about team facilitation, it's about the team dynamics and reading the room while you lead a team. It's about psychological safety in teams. There's a lot of research underpinning it. Of course, we go into basic stuff like as well. What's the difference between a team and a group, and what are the key criteria to make them successful? We go into team learning. We very much go into this area of innovating teams, and we will definitely look into the real world challenges of the team challenges our students will have. Who is participating there? These will be experienced coaches, it will be team leaders, it will be OD or HR consultants. So they come from a different kind of background.
Okay, I'm beginning to form that picture in my mind of who's involved and how the course starts. Let's go into it further with you, Elinor. I understand the second module is focused on tasks and mindset. Take us through that.
Yeah, thanks, Steve. So the second module, as you say, is task and mindset, which really brings the learner on forwards from this foundational module that they will have already done. And the purpose of this one now is to take some of this foundational knowledge and put it into practice a little bit. We're really looking at developing participants' innovation, creativity, problem solving, and risk taking capacity and mindset. So we're linking very much the concept of entrepreneurial thinking, entrepreneurial effectiveness, entrepreneurial capability, and entrepreneurial mindset. When we do this, it's going to enable the participants to really dig into the playfulness and creativity of their own coaching practice that will enable them to find quite new and different ways of working with teams. Creativity and playfulness are a really important part of our understanding of the world. It's how, when we're young, we get a sense of what we can do and what we can't do. We tend to lose that as we get older, and yet that's where a lot of creative ideas and innovation can come from. So trying to bring that back into the mix is quite an important thing. We'll be engaging the participants in critical self-exploration of their own way of working, trying to stretch their ideas around how coaching practice works and doesn't, so they'll get opportunities to try things out. And we also want them to dig into the theory behind the entrepreneurial mindset and inspirational team coaching. So it's quite a mixture of things that they'll be doing. Critically, reflexivity and critical reflection play a really important part in this process as well.
This seems like very practical stuff, especially when the course gets to Module 3, which I understand is focused on developing professional practice. Let's find out more about that, starting with you, Uwe.
It is really in the third unit that participants start their own swimming and with their own swimming style. It goes really the understanding from unprepared to clear for themselves. It goes from singular to systemic. It goes from messy to focus or muddling through, as I mentioned before, to structured. It is making practical knowledge in terms of behavioral skills, how to react in the center of a team and how to do this, what we call inspirational team coaching. So it is with different elements of theater techniques. We try to get the best out of all the participants.
Yeah, absolutely. I would agree, Uwe, that it's all of these things. I think it's also important to say that this particular module is the biggest in terms of credit bearing. So this is the 60 creditor. And what that means is that there's a lot of opportunity here to develop some really rich projects in relation to their coaching practice. Again, this critical thinking is really important. And what we want them to do is hone their skills and capacity for inspirational team coaching with real clients that they're working with, so that they can develop a very rich understanding of putting the first two modules learning into practice.
And maybe I can get you both to talk about what your delegates will be doing once they've completed the course. How will it prepare them to act in the real world? Maybe starting with you, Uwe.
Yeah, thanks for the question. Looking internally to team coaches in organizations, there are plenty of tasks to do. We have plenty of teams nowadays in organization. The organizations we asked before at least say that there is a lot of work to do in terms of getting teams clearer, getting teams working, helping teams to build up more capacity. So there is a lot for internal team coaches to do and applying the skills they will learn here in this course.
I think it's also really important to say that this skill base will enable people who are currently practicing perhaps as consultant coaches in their own practice to develop something that adds to their toolkit, I suppose. So, this inspirational team coaching will be another activity that they can take forward into their own practice and potentially even coaching other organizations. So, it could be, as Uwe said, that they work internally in their own organizations. We know that corporates are huge nowadays, and that means that quite often there are branches of companies that exist all over the world. So it's very possible that they might be able to take some of their practice externally to these organizations and develop that skill set there.
It certainly sounds like a great course to be on. So let's find out more about how people who are interested can connect with you. I mean, first of all, when does it launch? And then how can people find out more and join in?
Yeah, it's a super exciting course, and we will launch it in the autumn this year, 2022, which is, as I said, very, very exciting. If you wanted to find more about it, I would suggest definitely contacting either myself at e.vettraino, I'll spell that, V for Victor, ETTRAINO, at aston.ac.uk. So that's e.vettraino@aston.ac.uk. Or contacting Uwe at u.Napiersky, which is Napiersky at aston.ac.uk. So that's u.Napiersky at aston.ac.uk. We'll also shortly be putting things up on the Aston University website so that you can get much more information about the course there. So please do watch this space and check it out.
Dr. Uwe Napiersky and Dr. Elinor Vettraino, the leaders of the new Inspirational Team Coaching course, which is at the Centre for Innovation in Enterprise Education at Aston Business School. Many thanks to both of you for joining Aston Means Business today.
You're very welcome.
Yes, indeed. Thank you.
No problems. And once the first cohort of students has completed this Inspirational Team Coaching course, I'm sure we'll involve some of the star performers in another podcast episode to find out how they get on.
Sounds like a really good plan. Look forward to that.
Thanks for listening to Aston Means Business, an original podcast series for Aston University. Remember, if you enjoyed today's episode, you can find earlier episodes by simply Googling Aston Means Business. We've also got a podcast series called Society Matters, which interviews top academics at Aston's School of Social Sciences and Humanities about current issues and concepts which shape our world and the way that people live. You can find those episodes simply by Googling Society Matters Aston. Meanwhile, we'll be back soon with more interviews with some of the UK's top business academics here at Aston. Aston Means Business. Thanks for listening.